Do you feel comfortable the way you're sitting and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'll show you what I'm going to need to do. This plane, it's all controlled by this control stick. So
Okay.
just watch your legs so that it doesn't bump into you too much. That's just other people talking. So I'm going to need control about that much.
Okay.
I also steer the plane on the ground by using my feet. Seems a little confusing. This is how we turn in the air, and this is how we turn on the ground.
Okay.
Have to check the winds.
3, 0, 4, 8 inches of mercury.
Edenvale Airport.
Automated weather observation 163 Niner Zulu. Wind 320 at 08 knots. Temperature 16 Celsius. Dew point 5 Celsius. Altimeter 304 8 inches of mercury.
Edenvale Airport.
If you have any questions for me, don't hesitate to ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question, so please ask away. Now, if at any time you're starting to feel maybe your stomach's feeling a little upset, let me know, because then I could just turn around and land.
Okay.
If it gets really, really bad, there is a little baggie in there if you have to puke. Hopefully it doesn't get that bad. Hopefully I can land in time. It's very rare it happens to people, but sometimes the small planes will cause a little bit of turbulence, cause a rock around a little bit, and then you might get sick.
Okay.
And every once in a while, I'm going to need to make an announcement to other pilots. So before I cross this runway, I have to tell some pilots that I'm doing it.
Okay.
And Edenvale traffic, SportStar, India Juliet, Kilo Yankee, crossing 0826 to taxiway Delta. Edenvale traffic, Romeo Alpha Delta is leaving the zone east, or correction, westbound.
So this plane feels a little warm when we're on the ground, but once we get up and flying, there's an air vent there and it'll be blasting cold air at us. And I have to do one last thing before we take off. I have to do an engine check real quick. Looking good. Well, if you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay.
You don't know if you're ready, do you? I'll do my best to fly as smooth as possible. We won't be doing anything crazy like you see stunt flying, none of that kind of stuff. So we're going to just taxi all the way down to the end of the runway, turn around, and we're gone.
And Edenvale traffic, Juliet, Kilo Yankee, backtracking 31.
Making sure everything's nice and secure.
Edenvale traffic, Skydive Alpha taxiing to 31. We'll be departing towards the fare drop area.
So generally, whenever the plane first takes off the ground, it might rock around a little bit. I'm just letting you know that so none of it surprises you. That's completely normal. The higher we get off the ground, the smoother it's going to become.
Okay.
So you maybe in the first 30 seconds, you might feel this plane shifting all over the place. That's completely normal.
Okay.
All right, I will do my best to make sure you're nice and calm and I don't freak you out. Okay?
Okay.
And Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankee on the roll, 31.
And we're off the ground. Simple as that.
Edenvale traffic, Skydive Alpha, backtracking 31.
All that bumpiness you're feeling, that's the stuff I'm talking about. It's actually quite gentle right now. Some days it's much worse.
And Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankee, airborne off of 31, climbing straight out en route to the shoreline, Wasaga Beach.
So you guys are from the area here, right?
Yeah.
You okay so far?
Approaching altitude.
Good. I gotta be honest, the first few times I flew in a small plane like this, my stomach did get upset.
Edenvale traffic, Skydive Alpha, taking off 31, headed towards the beach.
Leaving altitude.
Edenvale traffic, Indy Romeo Hotels, 5 miles to the north, inbound. We're going to cross overhead and join a mid-left for 31.
So right now, we are 1,300 feet over the ground. This is a cool altitude to be at because you can still recognize what you're looking at when you're on the when you look at the ground. If we go much higher, everything looks so small and it's hard to recognize where you are. I don't know if you can recognize from here, off in the distance, that's Blue Mountain. You can sort of see how it goes up there, and you can see the ski runs. Off in the distance along the shore is Collingwood.
Leaving.
Edenvale traffic, Kilo Uniform over West Wasaga Beach in a super center, 2100, turning downwind, straight downwind for 31.
So the guy that was just talking to us, I'm not sure if you can see him. I think it's a little plane flying off just a little bit higher than the water horizon.
Approaching altitude.
And where did he disappear to? Oh, there he is, way over there. I don't know if you see him. Other planes are so hard to see from up here. So usually when we get close to the water, it gets smoother. Not so many little bumps. So my question to you is, which way do you want to go? We can go that direction towards Blue Mountain, or we can go this direction towards Midland.
That way.
That way? Cool. So we're over top of the town of Wasaga Beach. Off in this direction here is where Beach 1 is. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but what it takes to control the airplane, if you notice what I'm doing with my hand, is very, very little. Like it's really flying itself.
On Unicom, it's Golf Juliet Zulu.
So we're going to get you trying some of this stuff.
Cargo traffic, Yankee Charlie Sierra, taxiing to Surfer 1.
How's your stomach so far, okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Midland Unicom, Golf Juliet Zulu.
I'm just going to let other pilots know where we are.
And Collingwood area traffic, SportStar India Juliet Kilo Yankee, 2 miles west of Wasaga Beach 1, Wasaga Beach. Traveling eastbound along the shoreline at 2,000 feet en route to Midland area.
All right, so let's show you how to do this.
Clear back to
Might as well. So why don't you take your left hand and put it on the control. And generally, you're probably right-handed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so is most people, but all pilots need to learn how to fly with their left hand because you need your right hand available to use this, which is our gas pedal. This is, you know, the radio. You got to be able to play with this stuff with your dominant hand. So your left hand, we kind of teach ourselves to fly with. So I don't know if you feel, I'm going to start making a left turn, and I just want you to feel what I'm doing with this control stick. I'm looking forward, and by looking forward, I can make sure the plane doesn't start going down or up. And I'm just going to give a little push like this, and I'm not going to look at any of the gauges. I'm just going to go like that, and I can feel the plane turning. And if I want to stop the turn, I just pull back just a little bit like that. So now we're back to level. Now to do a right turn, it's just a little bit like that. Do you feel the little pull I'm doing with my hands? Really small. Like to go back flat, I go like that, and that's it. Now if I want the airplane to go up higher, I just pull towards us just a little bit. And you can feel that the nose went up now. And if I want it to come down, I push away from us towards our feet. I don't want to make this lesson too advanced for you. I want you to really enjoy yourself. But a way that we know if we're climbing in an airplane or descending is this gauge right here. This is called an altimeter. And right now it tells us we are 2,120 feet above sea level. If I push the nose forward, watch what happens with that gauge.
Approaching altitude.
See how it starts dropping? 2,060, 2,040. That means we're descending, we're going down. So the way to make sure that we're flying straight and level is we kind of pick a height and just try to keep it roughly in that area. Because it's so hard not to make it sink or climb. So every once in a while, I always look over at this to see if I'm climbing or descending. But I don't want it to get too complicated. I want you to enjoy yourself. And if you want to give it a try, it's up to you. Feel free to try turning the plane any direction you'd like. I'm going to keep my hand right here, so I won't let you do anything that's going to get us into trouble. But if you want to turn it left, just try pulling that stick a little bit to the left. There you go. So we're starting a left turn. Very nice. Now these planes are capable of turning pretty sharp, but we're not going to get crazy. That freaks a lot of people out if you go too sharp. Now, how do you feel doing that? Do you understand what you're doing when you're making those movements?
Yeah.
Midland traffic, Golf, Julia Zulu, Cherokee 140 is 3 miles to the south of the airport. We'll be crossing over from the east side for a left downwind, runway 34.
I have a feeling you got a good handle of what you're doing. I think you already kind of adapted pretty quick. So let's see if you can turn the plane and try to fly right over that beach. I think you can do it. Very nice. Not much to it, is there?
No.
You just got to be very gentle on the control. That was actually perfect.
Leaving altitude.
So the reason why the computer said that is because I set a little blue thing here. So if we go past 100 feet away from that blue thing, she tells us that we're leaving the altitude, we're climbing. But that's okay, we can be at any height we want. You got nerves of steel. So you probably think we're going pretty slow right now. That always feels like we're really slow. But right now we're doing about 140 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
So we're moving pretty fast. Yeah, we're almost up in Midland now. So if you know how long that takes in a car to drive there, and we've only been up in the air for about 14 minutes at this point, and we're already almost at Midland.
Midland traffic, Golf Julia Zulu is coming up overhead the airport for left downwind 34.
So, like your dad said, I'll let you tell me how long you want to be up here. That's entirely up to you. I'm just trying to think of an area to fly to. Is there anything you want to see from up here?
Not sure.
So let's take the plane and steer it back towards land. We'll just go off in that direction. The reason why we want to do that is when we're flying, it's always good to always think of worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario would be if by chance our engine was to quit, the plane itself will glide. So it'll feel just like it's feeling now. The only difference is it's not going to be pulling us forward as fast. It'll glide, but we have to look for a place to land if that ever happened. Out in the water would really suck to land out here because it's very cold in the water. And the air is kind of cold today, so the ideal situation would be to land on some farmer's field and everything's fine. I'm not saying that that will happen, but we always plan for that. So when a pilot flies, we're always looking for a safe place to land. So we're now 900 feet higher than we were when you started flying. So we're almost at 3,000 feet. Almost. You're slowly climbing.
Off Juliet Zulu on final 3-4, full stop.
So the town you see in front of us, I don't know if you can see straight forward, that's Penetanguishene. Try pushing the nose down just a little bit. That's it. That way we won't climb so much.
Looks like a ground. This is Skydive Alpha.
Yeah, you can see where that bay is, that big water bay. That's Penetanguishene.
Thank you.
And over there is Midland. The one thing we don't want to do is fly through those clouds.
Clear of the runway 34. Taxiing Bravo for the ramp.
If we just keep the nose down a little bit, you'll notice this will start going down. And that way we'll be safely away from the clouds. The reason why we don't want to go through the clouds is if there's another pilot flying in those clouds and he pops out the other side, he can hit us if we don't see each other. So it's not wise to get too close to the clouds.
Collingwood area traffic, Cherokee Golf Golf. India Delta is currently 10 nautical miles west of the airfield, level at 2,600 feet, inbound for runway 31 Collingwood.
Yeah, you're doing very good. We're descending nicely. You can tell that we're getting closer to the ground, can't you?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, a lot of pilots don't recognize that. You know, usually it takes them a few hours of training to start recognizing it, but you're picking it up very quick. So from here, we can take this and maybe see that lake over there?
Yeah.
Let's fly in that direction. So just start doing a turn that way. That's it. Every once in a while, you'll notice my hand is going on our gas pedal here. I'm just adding a little bit more power to make sure our airspeed is good. Because the way a plane flies, you always have to have speed going forward. If we run out of speed, the plane will start falling. So I always watch this gauge here. This tells me how fast the airspeed is. Anytime that needle goes below the 60, we're in a dangerous area. So I just make sure it never goes there. You're actually very good at this. You're correcting for all the bumps too. That's nice.
Collingwood area traffic, Golfing Sierra, back runway 31.
So you probably feel that. If you feel the wind below us, where it's kind of lifts this wing, you just fight and push it back down. And you're already doing all that.
Collingwood area traffic, Cherokee Golf Golf India Delta is currently 5 nautical miles west of the airfield, level at 2600. We'll be descending to 1700 to join the straight in left downwind runway 31 Collingwood.
On a real clear day, you can actually see the buildings in Toronto from here. Today, it's kind of a little bit foggy up ahead. You have any questions for me?
No.
Collingwood area traffic, Golfing Charlie Sierra, take position runway 31, for immediate takeoff.
Some of the hardest things about becoming a pilot is getting used to the navigation of it. To learn how to really tell what direction we're flying in, which way is north, east, south, and west, stuff like that. And it just takes time. You know, over time you start learning it. You start learning how to use these things, the compass.
Collingwood area traffic, Cherokee Golf Golf India Delta is currently 3 miles west of the airfield, 1700. We'll be joining the straight in left downwind runway 31 Southernville.
This lake here is called Orr Lake. So let's see how your sense of direction is. Do you know roughly what direction the airport that we came from would be in?
Collingwood area traffic, Golf India Delta is joining the straight in left downwind runway 31
You got it.
Southfield.
This is somewhere over there.
You got it dead on. Yep. It's exactly over there. That's really good. I have some students that have been learning to fly for maybe 10, 11 hours of flying and they still can't figure it out. This is your first time and you already know which way to go. Let's take the plane and point it into that direction you were thinking. And we'll see if you were right.
Collingwood area traffic, Golfing Charlie Sierra, departing the circuit with a right-hand turn out going north toward the shoreline, going to travel the shoreline to Craigleith, climbing 3,000 feet.
Okay, you're a natural. You picked exactly the direction of the airport. The reason why I know, if you look at this screen, see that little blue logo that's hiding behind this gauge?
Yeah.
That's the airport.
Delta Zulu Romeo.
And you're pointing right at it.
3-4.
Now right now you're still descending a little bit. That's why it's getting rougher. The closer we get to the ground, it usually ends up being a little bumpier.
Collingwood area traffic, Golf India Delta is turning left base, runway 31, stop and go.
Your stomach still good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep, you're a natural. Wow, that's a loud phone ringing. Hey, Kev? Just in the air at the moment. What's up, dude? Okay, sir.
Collingwood traffic, Golf India Delta is turning
Talk to you soon.
no, runway 31, stop and go.
My apologies. I had to answer the phone or the guy would have kept calling me. So the one thing you'll probably notice a lot of, all this bouncing around is right now all because of different winds pushing us in different directions. Right now I can feel there's a strong wind pushing us from behind and it wants to push us that way. So that's why you're constantly moving that stick to try to correct for that.
Traffic here is Fox Mountain. Clear the runway onto 026
Edenvale, Skyline Alpha 1, final 3-1, number 2.
So maybe I'll give you something a little more challenging to do. Why don't you try doing a turn all the way around and then back to this direction? A 360-degree turn. You can go left or right, whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Okay.
Very nice. Now you're gradually going up. That's it.
overshooting 317 circuit.
There you go. Perfect. Very, very nice. So there's the airport that we're going to go to. I don't know if you could recognize it from up here. What you see here is like a big forest, and once you pass that forest, you'll see like a paved X. That's where we're going to go. But in order to go there, we have to go all the way down to 1,700 feet on that
India
gauge.
Lima Foxtrot Kilo, turn left downwind for 31.
That's it. We're going to lower ourselves down all the way to 1,700. And I'm going to make an announcement to the airport that we're coming in.
And Edenvale traffic, SportStar India Juliet Kilo Yankee is 7 miles east of the field, inbound for landing. Going to cross overhead the field and join mid-left downwind, 31.
India traffic, Kilo 24, 2100 feet over main beach number 1, Wasaga Beach, heading eastbound.
Get ready to start pulling back.
How high are you?
There you go.
2120.
That's where we want to be. That's it. Now we'll keep flying in the direction of the airport. I don't know if you can see it. It's off there. That's it. We're going a little bit low, so bring her back up to 1,700. That's it, just gently.
That's India Lima Foxtrot Kilo, turn left base.
Okay, from here it gets complicated.
Approaching.
So I'm going to have to take over from here because I have to enter into a landing pattern. So how did that feel?
That was really fun.
You were good. You were very, very good at this. I fly with people every day, and it's very rare to come across somebody who understands what's going on with the controls. And how old are you?
13.
Oh my God. You're really good at this, for 13 especially. So there's the airport that we're going to go to.
India Lima Foxtrot Kilo, turn and final. 431.
Leaving altitude. Approaching altitude.
So this looks confusing to the first time somebody does it. The runway we're going to be landing on is the long one that goes in this direction. But we have to fly this thing we call the circuit to land there. So we have to fly over the airport, then we have to make a left turn, another left turn, and one more left turn to land there. We have to do like an imaginary part rectangle in the sky. There we go, now it's getting turbulent. There's a guy coming into land right now. He's landing on the runway.
And Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankees overhead the field to join a mid-left downwind, 31 full stop.
I'm on your left side, just over the water, level 25.
Yeah, it's very turbulent here. This is a lot more turbulent than where we were flying.
And Edenvale traffic, Lima Foxtrot Kilo is backtracking 31.
Wow, it's getting exciting on the control stick.
And And Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankee, turning mid-left downwind, 31, full stop.
How long?
So
You got me, G?
right now we're there's a name for this procedure we're flying. This is called our downwind road. So we're flying downwind. That means the wind should be behind us, pushing us. And there's another name for the next imaginary road we turn on. It's called our base road. And then the one you've probably heard in all the movies where they say final. The next one's called final road.
No, I don't. Where are you? Oh, okay, I see you.
So this is where I got to slow the plane down and do a nice gradual descent back to Earth.
And Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankee, turning left base, 31, full stop.
Edenvale traffic, Lima Foxtrot Kilo is rolling 31 for the circuit.
Leaving altitude. Approaching altitude.
Pulling this lever here, which is called flaps. These big hanging down things that are underneath the wings that help act like a brake. Slow us down.
And Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankee, turning final, 31, full stop.
So there's our runway. That's our target. This is probably the hardest part about learning to fly, is doing this maneuver here, coming into land. The reason why it's difficult is because we're flying the plane so slow, and when you fly a plane slow, you're in danger of it not flying anymore. So you have to be very careful. All I'm doing right now is just staring at my speedometer there, watching my speed. I don't want it to go too fast, and I definitely don't want it to be below 60. When it gets close to 60, the only way I can speed up is by pushing the nose down. Wow. That was exciting. We had some gusts of wind there. I almost picked us right back up in the air.
India Lima Foxtrot Kilo, turn left downwind for 31.
You were good. Your stomach held together nice. Very good. So now I'm back to steering this plane with my feet. I don't know if you can reach those pedals, can you? Barely, huh? So if you were going to be flying this thing, what I would do is I have another cushion I would have to bring that brings you further forward. So we just put it behind your back. That way you can reach the pedals. Because it's important to start learning how to use them also. They do something in the air as well. They help turn the plane, but today I didn't really use them until we came into land.
And Edenvale traffic, Juliet Kilo Yankee down and clear, 31, backtracking 26 to the main ramp.
Yeah, you got a cool dad that gave you this as a gift. That's awesome.
Edenvale traffic, Lima Foxtrot Kilos, left base 31.
And we made it back safe and sound.